Good morning. I'm Helen Sattler, your destiny helper. How are you this morning? Thank you so much on the few days before Christmas for the many gestures that you have given, the cards that you have sent, and the new subscribers. Thank you so much. And the encouragement and the comments. I really appreciate it during this Christmas holiday. Excuse me, my voice is a little bit raspy this morning, but I want to come and answer a question that was given through my email. And the question is, why can't I get away from the narcissist when I know that he is bad for me or she's bad for me? Why can't I move along? Well, that can be easily answered. Do you know that the narcissist is not just a common relationship? It's not a regular relationship. If you notice, the relationship is different. After the love bombing, your eyes start to open. After the mask drop, your eyes start to open, and you still want to sustain that relationship, because there's something. I want to talk about two hormones on this morning. There's several different hormones that operate within the body. So I'll begin to get to those other hormones also. But one of the things I want to talk to you about is dopamine and oxytocin. Dopamine is released when you have a goal, and the closer you get to that goal, they call it the happy drug. But it's also addictive, because that release of that dopamine when you are getting the goals that you have, or you're getting to fulfillment, that dopamine is released, and a sense of satisfaction, a sense of calm. Well, if you notice, since you've been with the narcissist, if you've been with the narcissist a while, you're probably noticing more medical attention that's necessary. You're sick more. Your immune system is down. Your blood pressure is up. Many of you, your brain doesn't think. Now, when you don't sleep, because dopamine can affect your sleep, dopamine can affect your memory. So when you don't sleep, you get less dopamine, which causes you to be agitated and irritated. And also, it does not, when it does not secrete, you get less sleep, and it also affects your memory. Many of you say, I'm starting to have memory loss. I'm starting to fade out. And it also, your energy, it'll affect your energy and your ability to go forward. You say, I had stamina, I was energetic. Now I don't want to do anything. It's hard for me to move. And when it's hard for me to move, my body suffers because I'm not moving. Well, if you lack dopamine, and dopamine is necessary, it secretes in the brain, and your body recognizes it. And so the dopamine, when you have low dopamine, you have problems sleeping, you have problems thinking, you have problems remembering, because it affects the thought process of your mind, and your ambition is low. It's like serotonin. When you don't get enough serotonin, you begin to sleep. And when you lack of sleep, and insomnia is a bad habit with a lack of serotonin. And so with dopamine, it is the drug of addiction. A narcissist is addictive, and the longer you be with them, the more you be around them, the more you want to go after them. Okay, they're going to release of dopamine because you're going after them. You're in motion with a desire, and the dopamine releases, and it releases more when there's like this unexpectation. You're striving, but you don't know the results. Now, when you go to like a bakery and you're eating donuts, at first that dopamine is releasing. You say, I will come back here again. You go back there again. You say, I'll come back here again. Well, one day you sit down, you don't get that release of dopamine. Why? Because there's an expectation. There's nothing to fulfill. The plan is already set. So there's no goals. There's nothing to strive for. And see, with the narcissists, they allow these hormones to work in them also. But if you notice, when the narcissist narcissists get to the point where they get tired of you, that dopamine don't release, and he go after the new supply because the dopamine is not there. The oxytocin, they call that the love drug. When a mother has a baby, the oxytocin help the mother when they're going through delivery, it thins out the uterus, and then when the baby come, it's help her secrete the milk because it's on demand, that her ears hear the baby cry, and when the baby begin to cry, her body begin to respond. That's the way it is with the narcissist. Your body get used to him, your ears get used to him, your oxytocin secrete just like a woman having a baby, and that oxytocin is that love drug. It makes you feel good. It ties you into bonding. These two drugs will cause you to tie in, to lock in, to bond in, to join in to this relationship, and to commit to this relationship, even to your harm. Because with that oxytocin and with that dopamine, you are convincing yourself that he's going to change. So there go your goals. You are striving toward those goals, and you're saying that he won't always be like this. I will pray, I will cook, I will do everything that I can. He's going to change, and he promised you when he knows that you're going to leave, and he cries and promise you, I will never do that again. But all the things that he really doesn't show love, it shows need. And so think about it. If the narcissist is stirring up dopamine, stirring up oxytocin, the same thing that's working in his body for fulfillment. So when that oxytocin start to secrete less and the dopamine start to secrete less, what you find now, the narcissists get into movement, and that new supply raise the level of expectation. They're new, they're invigorating. I mean, he sees them, he wants them, and now it's new supply. Everything, his expectation is high. And you remember with the new supply, the love bombing come. This is when you get the golden love bombing. He throws in everything. And for 3 to 6 months, it takes to lock in the new supply. And then the new supply start to convince themselves, well, within that 3 to 6 months, the narcissist start throwing in little testers to see, will you leave? Because the narcissists need long-term relationship, because the torment and the hell they're going to take you through, gaslighting you, devaluating you, and then eventually discarding you, and then they hoover you and come back. The narcissists never believe in their mind that you are gone unless they just see no need for you. They let you go through discard, but in their mind, they are planning to hoover you. They are planning to bring you back. And these hormones secreting in your body gives them the guarantee. They know when things are stale. They know when things, because they know, especially the narcissists that is experienced, the upper mid narcissists and the greater narcissists, when they've done this 1,000 times. Can you imagine one man having 1,000 women and never loving anybody, and the only person he loves is himself? Then when he gives to you a gift, there's an ulterior motive. Boom, that release of dopamine, boom, that release of oxytocin, and that release of oxytocin is what bring you to a climatic effect. So when the narcissist is love bombing you, giving you that golden bronze, they say it's the golden love bomb, but I say they even got love bomb that is a diamond on the diamond basis. I mean, they cut that diamond, put the heat on, and I mean, you are at brilliance. It's sparkling. It's beautiful. It's what your heart wants. It's what your heart desires. That oxytocin is released because you got fulfillment. You fulfilled your goal. It wasn't your goal. He hooked you. He found out. You got to remember that narcissists are very skilled in research mode. They research you. They've looked at you over the web. They've looked at you probably for over a year. They've observed you. Then they move in from the love bomb, and they know what you want based on your different posts, based on your different words. They've seen you in different settings. They've seen you in different positions of where you were. They've seen you with different, if you're female, they've seen you with different hairstyles. lifestyle, different clothes. They seen you in different setting. If it's religious, they get you in a religious setting. They coming to you a religious way. If it's business, they're coming to you in a business way. If you're very prosperous and you're a very powerful man or very powerful woman, they have viewed you. So when they come and you said, look like they knew me, yeah, they did, because they were the monitoring spirit, monitor you, and they evaluated you. They saw your temperament and they made sure they observed you enough. And then they would ask you questions. You thought they was finding out about you. They really were. They was finding out about you not because they love you. They was finding out about you because they wanted to know how to handle you and to bring you back in, because they got this harem and they need as many women as they can find. And the narcissist will love bomb you. The narcissist will get in your head. And when the narcissists get in your head, they are going for cell block. That means they want to lock you in a mode of continuum. And they want you to be excited about them, but you never get them. You never grasp them. That dopamine will constantly be released because you're always on the go. You're always on the thrive. But the dopamine with that narcissist is like crack cocaine. Their smell is addictive. Their breath is addictive. Their love is addictive. Then after a while, you get so used to them until you don't want to leave, and that oxytocin is working. And then the next thing you know, those little spurts of torment, little spurts of dishonesty, little lies start to be told. And the more you tolerate them, the greater influence they're going to come in with the lies. The greater influence they're going to come in to tell you different things. And they want you hurt, and they want to see how you're going to react to them. If you look like you're going to leave, most of the time they're not going to take you to the golden bronze or the diamond base. They're going to take you to the bronze. The bronze is good. It's enough to get you in, enough to feel like you care, but they're not really there like they were in the beginning. It's like somebody who smoked crack cocaine. At first, I mean, it's the high of the lifetime, but they spend the rest of their lives trying to get that high again, and you never get that high again. Some relationship, the narcissist never, ever love bomb them to the golden love bombing. And so now they want you to accept it, and that's when they start to character deplete you and undermine you. Because if you take a frog and put it in boiling water and you slowly turn that water up, the frog doesn't know that he's being murdered in a slow basis. And that's the way it is when you are subject to the dopamine and the oxytocin. You are being hooked, you are being cleaned, you are being trained, you are being observed, and you are being locked, and you're being locked into bondage until your whole life belongs to that person. Your whole mind belongs to that person. Your whole dreams belong to that person, and you feel like you can't live without them. So you always looking for another shot of dopamine, another shot of oxytocin, and so you're always striving. You're like a hamster. They put you in the cage and you run and you run and you run and you run, and you don't care about breaks. You care about hooking them. You care about solidifying their relationship, which is not going to happen, because a narcissist, no matter how much they tell you they love you, they cannot. And so the narcissist is looking for the same thing that you want, but in a different way, because they don't love. They're used to specimen. You're just like a laboratory specimen. You're like a tester. They got you in this laboratory. And a pathologist is there just observing how you act in different circumstances, under different pressures, under different temperatures, and they start to respond to you, and the spoon get longer and longer and longer until it's an all-out abuse. And then they totally undermine you, which is gaslighting, and then they devalue you. There was a time you wouldn't accept anyone talking to you like that. Now you don't don't want to lose them because you are addictive. They are your drug. They are your vision. They are your goals. You have left your life vision. You have left your life goals. And they are, do you know, dopamine also gives you energy. Very successful people, because they always have goals, they always have an expectation, they are always planning, they are always moving to a higher stance. They're never satisfied at the level that they obtain. Once they obtain that level, boom, they're back in the motion with other plans, expected to go forward and expected to go up. And that's what the narcissist did. That dopamine energize them because their expectation never ever stay the same. A narcissist is like a child with ADD. Their attention span is horrific, and so they need you to constantly entertain them. You would drain your life out trying to entertain grown men and grown women, and now that love hormone has hit you and you are committed. And just like a uterine wall, when that oxytocin hit that wall, and it makes the uterine contract, and it's thinning out the uterine with every contraction, is thinning out so they can the uterine can thin out and lubricate and be ready to push that baby through every contraction. The baby start moving down the birth canal until it's set in position and the baby turn with its head up. And that's what happened with you. You are getting in position, and every torment, every cycle, because it happened in cycles, they would torment you and leave and come back and hoover you, love you and leave and come back. They will always have a base. You're not going to find that narcissist without a baseline. You may be homeless, but the narcissist don't want to be homeless unless you're just done. You have to be finished. You have to recognize who you are. I call it your authentic self. And when you come in line with your authentic self, you will stop the abuse. They said stop the abuse. That's what you have to do. But you got to pull your mind in. You got to get the dopamine of addiction away from the narcissist in your mind first, and then you got to get the dopamine release in your goals, your aspiration, your freedom. You're looking towards your freedom. Do you know some of you that are looking forward to your freedom, that dopamine is released? But when that dopamine is released, there was a time you didn't have energy to fight. You didn't have energy to go forward. Now you have the energy to fight. You have the energy to go forward. You can see yourself without them. Now you can see yourself, but look at all the scars. Do you know that you can be with a narcissist for 3 months? It will take you 2 years to work through that addiction that you had emotionally on the narcissist. And this is why the narcissists love your emotions. The Bible tells us to walk by faith and not by sight, because everything can't be about emotion. You get hooked like that. Sometimes you have to use your intelligentsia. You have to think. You have to move yourself out of your feelings and grace yourself with your intellect. The dopamine help with that, because the dopamine give you the intellect height that you need. It gives you the energy that you need, and you have to be done. You have to have enough. Nobody can make you leave the narcissist because you love them. And so no matter how a person tell you, like a person on drugs, you can tell them drugs is not good for them, they're not going to listen. What they're going to do is to lie to you and tell you that they're listening. Next thing you know, they're walking out with some of your stuff to go sell so they can get that drug. That narcissist is just as addictive as crack cocaine. The narcissists are pure cut cocaine or meth. That is your drug, except your drug has a heartbeat. Your drug has a brain. Your drug can make decision and alter it at a moment's notice. Your drug can hug you, make love to you. Your drug can change your whole system. Your drug can affect your body. All your hormonal levels are high. Your adrenaline is high. Your brain has been affected. You can even see the activity of the brain, and you're slowing down in your brain, because once you slow down with your brain and you slow down like with serotonin, you're going to find yourself in acute depression, and you're getting depressed and activity is slowing down and you're almost in a fog. It's like you're high off the emotions and the rejection of the narcissist. So you walk around in delirium all day because you're not connected to society, because you don't want the reality of the moment. You want the fictitious reality. You want the reality that's not a reality, because as long as in your mind you have the narcissist, as long as in your mind you see you with them, you know that they're triangulating, you know that they're cheating, you saw some things, you heard some things, you smelled things, you saw the hair, you saw the makeup on the clothes, but you don't want to see it, so you close your eyes. There was a movie that was, I think it was Eyes Wide Open, Shut, or Shut Wide Open, or something like that, with Tom Cruise. That's you. You're seeing it, but you're denying it. You're not in unbelief alone. You are denying it. You know it's true, but you want your narc. You want that addiction. You want that drug. You want her. You want him at any cost, and it's costing you everything, costing you your family, costing your children, because this is just two hormones, and this is just dopamine, and this is just oxytocin, and it's affecting your brain, it's affecting your memory, it's affecting your energy, it's affecting your intelligentsia. You separate from your friends, you separate from your family. You're asking, what is wrong with me? You have a full addiction, and you need to go to a rehabilitation therapist who knows about narcissism and very skilled in narcissism, and they can take you through a process. If 3 months can take a year, you need a skilled individual that is able to know what you're going through, because when you first go through, all of your feelings, all of your emotion, your desire is at a height. So your body is off the scale, releasing dopamine, releasing oxytocin, because that love drug has you bonded. It has you bonded to a lie, bonded to deception. You can't even bring a friend over to your house. You see him looking at her, he makes the move, and then once you register the move, he starts telling you crazy, telling you you're controlling, and he done told you so much through gaslighting until now you are starting to believe that something is wrong with you. You're starting to believe that maybe that is true, and it's not true. And he tell you you're cheating. You're like, was I looking at that man, or was I looking at that woman in that way? No, you were not. And the only way your mind start to clear is with a decision that I'm coming out. And once you make a decision, you'll know. You start to defog, you start to decalibrate, you start to register out, because once you get away from the drug, the body can start to clear out. And when the body can start to clear out, you start to see better. It's like putting glasses on when you knew you had eye problems. Now you can see clearly because you have some assistance, you have some help. Well, this is help for you tonight, this morning, to tell you that you can come out of it. You can escape. You can get your mind back, your time back. Some of you are in such acute depression until you're neglecting your children, and they didn't ask to be here. You can do it again. You can grow. You can expand. How do you get dopamine in another way? What about meditation? Do you know music and is one of the greatest release of oxytocin, where you start to relax. You start to relax your mind and you meditate. Meditate don't just mean you think. You can mutter things. I am great. I know what I'm doing. I'm able to rise up. I'm strong in the Lord. I'm getting my life back. I'm going back to school. And if you have to say it 2,000 times until that belief mechanism kicked in, you say it 2,000 times. You keep saying it, you keep saying it, you keep saying it. You write it down, you go to the bathroom, you take your book, you keep a journal, you say where you are, you talk back to yourself, and you listen to yourself. When nobody is there, it's you and you. And some of you that are worshiper of Jesus Christ, you can talk to him. And those of you who may be Muslim or in other religions, That's your source. Then you have to utilize your source. I'm a Christian, so God is my source. So I utilize my source. I utilize prayer. I utilize the word of God. I utilize confession. That means I'm constantly sanctioning the repetition of statements of who I am. I'm telling myself over and over and over and over and over. And I know that I'm releasing dopamine, right? Because dopamine is when you are aspiring to a higher cause and you are affecting your brain, affecting your intelligence. Look, you can do this. You can get your life totally back. Well, the person you're thinking about is in the past, and I'm telling you as one who's free, you won't even think about them. You won't want them. As a matter of fact, to think about them almost nauseate you. You have no desire for that person whatsoever, and you can go on with your life. You're no longer researching the web. You're no longer looking at where they are, going to their job or going to their ministry. You're not looking at that. A narcissist is a narcissist is a narcissist. I am a black woman, and no matter an African American woman, no matter how you put it, I would never be a Mexican woman. I would never be an Asian woman. I would never be a Caucasian woman. I will always be a black woman. No matter how I wear my makeup, no matter how I wear my hair, I am an African American woman. And like I am comfortable in my skin, I am comfortable being an African American woman, and I love being an African American woman, and I would not trade my race for anything. I love being an African American woman. I think that's my high. That's my addiction, being an African American woman. Well, you can do that too. You have to fill your soul with knowledge. Remember, the knowledge that's in your mind become what you think about, and what you think about becomes what you do. Your habits are out of your thoughts, and your thoughts continuums are out of your belief system, and every continuum it creates a vortex. A vortex is like an axle. It keeps spinning and it's perpetual. Well, when you break a vortex, it's to let something out or to let something in. You do not want to open a vortex unless you got in your mind what you want in, or you got in your mind what you want out. And once you break that vortex, push everything out you don't want, break that vortex, pull things in that you do want. You seal that vortex, and that continuum keep going and going and going and going. And as that vortex keep going, it create a cycle. And as the cycle keep going, it create a system. As a system keep going, it create a lifestyle. As a lifestyle keep going, it create a personality. As a personality keep going, it creates your routine. As a routine keep going, it becomes automatic. You don't even have to think about it. It is just there, and it's automatic. Your automatic victory, your automatic growth, your automatic awareness, your automatic release, your automatic stretching, your automatic goals. You will dream again. You will have your goals again. Yes, narcissist, you tortured, you gaslighted, you even got children by him. Some of you, you're married to him, but none of that will stop you, the real authentic you, for being who you are. You are amazingly powerful, thoughtful, intellectual, charismatic. You will grin from your belly again. You cried from your heart. Now you're going to laugh from your belly. You can get your life back. Your dopamine and oxytocin that worked against you, now it's going to work for you. If your memory come back, you're going to sleep. You're going to think. You're going to have energy. You're going to go forward, and now you can get addicted to other things like reading, things that you like. Some of you can sew. Go get material. Sew. Some of you can make jewelry. Make jewelry. Some of you love candles because you're fragrant and you love good smells. Get good smells. Go get oils and put them in the potpourri. Some of you like beauty around you. You can go inexpensively buy curtains, and especially when the narcissist narcissist if he's controlling your finances, but he allow finances. But if you're working, you can get nice curtains, get nice comforters. The narcissist think it's for you, but you are on the revival. You are on the return. You are coming up again. Your personality was in the grave, but you have spoke to that grave and burst it open, and the excitement and the exuberance that you will experience again. Let me tell you, you will do it again better than you did it before. Your greatness is upon you. Your prosperity is upon you. Your sanctioning is upon you. You can have it again until one day you look at what you said you could never do without. You look at what you said you crave. You say, how am I going to get out of this? And one day you look at the narcissist and know you're coming out. You look at her, and I mean, she's gorgeous. All of her shape, she's got everything in the right places except her head and her emotion. You look at her, you're not tempted by her. She could strip down. You are keeping it together because now you know what you want, and what you don't want is what you've had for the last 10 years, the last 20 years. Something has to change. So since you don't, I think I will. You will change. The dopamine now is for your good, and those little shots of dopamine, when you get those goals, when you get that energy, when you start moving forward and then get that shot of dopamine and you feel real good, then the more dopamine you have, the less stress you have. The more oxytocin that is released, the less stress you have, and you start to go to sleep. The narcissist doesn't need a lot of sleep, but you do, because as long as you're living with him, he's still draining, he's still pulling. And if he feel like you're getting away, expect a love bombing. But this time, it don't break you down. It builds you up. Well, good thing to say is, I will build, I will finish, I will prosper, and I have victory. I will build, I will finish, I will prosper, and I have victory. Every day, my enemies get weaker and weaker, and every day I get stronger and stronger, wiser and wiser, more confident, more prosperous. Opportunities respond to me. Doors open to me. I operate with authority, and I've taken my life back, and I cover my family, and my name is in the wind. Every day, my enemies get weaker and weaker, and every day I get stronger and stronger. I will build, I will finish, I will prosper, and I have victory. Welcome back to your great self, your wonderful self. You will not be held down. And some of you say, I'm not there. It's one day at a time. Don't fight the day of improvement. Don't fight 1 minute of improvement. Every minute of improvement, every hour, every week, every month, every year, every second of improvement is greater than it was before. Never diminish and never demise your accomplishment. You are doing it big, and you count. You matter. You are valuable. It doesn't matter who desecrate your presence, desecrate all of your accomplishment. Your degrees don't mean anything. They don't mean anything. And some of you have got to the place where you don't even have the fight in you. I release the fight back. I release the fight back in you. You will build. You will finish. You will prosper. And you have victory. I'm Helen Sattler. I'm your destiny helper. And it is an honor and a privilege always to serve you. If you would like and share my page and subscribe to my YouTube channel, it will truly be a blessing. When you subscribe, other people that don't know what to do can learn. They can grow, and they don't have to stay in the dark. These videos is filled with information, filled with light. Grow and be strong, because you will build, you will finish, you will prosper, and you have victory. Every day your enemies get weaker and weaker, but every day you get stronger and stronger. It is so. I'm Helen Sattler. I'm your destiny helper. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and enjoy the other videos. A good Merry Christmas to you and a prosperous and innovative New Year. It's your time now. Enjoy the moment.